This year, the Louisville Orchestra is starting a new initiative with the Creators Corps to bring new composers to the metro area, showcasing new types of music, and we're joined now by one of them, the composer Lisa Bielava.
Yes.
Yes, got it. Who will be premiering a new piece. Thanks so much for coming into the fore. Yeah. You've been living in Louisville for the last, what, 4 months now?
4 months, yeah.
How's that been?
Right. Oh, I love it. I was living in New York before, and the first thing I did when I got here was I bought a bike. So I bike everywhere, and I've gotten to know the city so well. Go to the farmers markets and the cafes, and I've met so many people here. So I've had a great time. And the piece that that I've written here has actually been written here. So I've been writing music in Louisville.
So let's talk about that piece, what it's called and how it came to be.
Sure. The piece is called Send the Carriage Through. And some of your viewers who may have been interested in watching the Queen's funeral procession may remember that line, because it was one of the lines, it was one of the commands that rang out as they took her coffin through the streets. Send the carriage through. I actually watched that morning because I was procrastinating. I was supposed to be writing music for the Louisville Orchestra, but I was watching the Queen's big day. And I was thinking about how the Queen, she actually composed that whole ritual, right? And just like a composer, every single one of these precise movements with those bearer party and all of these were all precisely notated by the Queen, right?
She had everything planned out.
Everything planned out, right? So in a way, like Beethoven or any composer that we admire from the past, right? She sort of wrote her own symphony, and then we were seeing it after she was gone. So I was sort of inspired by that, and then also I was inspired specifically by the way that these different people gave these commands with very specific rhythms. I started writing the rhythms down. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if an orchestra played those rhythms? So that was the beginning of the inspiration for this piece, was that.
And then you're going to have the Beethoven Fifth Symphony with the orchestra.
That's right, and the Emperor Concerto, which is the fifth piano concerto. So Teddy will be conducting those two pieces, by a great composer who's no longer with us, and my piece is inspired by a great woman who's no longer with us. So I'm sort of ruminating on what that means, but also the piece, even though it starts off thinking about, meditating on that, it actually becomes very playful. So people who come to hear the piece, it won't just be about sort of thinking about the solemnity, It also gets very playful, because as I was writing the piece, I was, having a wonderful time in Louisville and getting to know the players, and getting to know Teddy, and it became a very natural thing to sort of make the piece, as it goes on, become more and more joyful. And so that's what it's about.
Well, you've intrigued me, and then of course anytime you can be alongside Teddy, that's a plus. If people want to come and get a seat, what day and time?
Yes, well, there are two concerts that they can come to. One of them is the Coffee Series concert, which is this Friday the 13th at 11 in the morning. Or they can come to the Classics concert, which is at 7:30 on January 14th, I think, 7 o'clock, 7:30. On the 14th, which is Saturday. So those are two opportunities to come.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us. I'm excited. The project behind this and bringing the new composers in and knowing that it's created right here in the Derby City.
That's right.
That has something special to it.
Yeah, it's been a pretty special experience writing music here with my fellow creators. So.